Valorant Ranked is out, and placement matches are here. In this video, I'm going over my first impressions. As such, it is going to be a little bit more raw than most of my other videos. And what you should focus on to be placed high. Hello everyone, I'm Atchax, and these are my first impressions from competitive. Keep in mind, Riot has not fully released what the ranking system is based on, so these will be educated guesses combined with what Riot itself says, mostly from a specific post on their website, which I will link in the description. You have to play 20 games of unrated to play the competitive mode. This is definitely a good thing, as it helps players learn the maps and modes so they aren't overwhelmed. Once you've done that, you'll notice in your first ranked game that it is remarkably similar to unrated. There are a few key differences that I've noticed as a result of player behavior, which are very encouraging to see, especially this early in the game's lifespan. I've been lucky enough to have a bunch of kind and highly skilled friends to play with, and this has definitely increased my win rate, as Valorant is a team game designed for teams, and you always have to rely on your team to some degree, so try to find some reliable players to play with. Agent selection is a huge part of the game, and you want to make sure you have a good team comp. I can play every agent, and I recommend you learn all of them too to some degree, as this is a huge benefit. I saw a lot of players trying to auto-lock certain agents, and ended up getting 4 duelists, which isn't good. Sage is an absolute must, so learn to play Sage. I'm still really awkward with her, but not having one was one of the most common threads I saw in the teams that we stomped. I did solo queue 3 times. Most notably, we were losing 4-8, and then one of the guys went, "We're going to win this." I admit, I did not believe, and we lost 4 more rounds. Then we came back and won. Something to know about round-based games is never give up. The scores don't carry except in the economy and the mentalities of the players. I've had some ridiculous comebacks in CSGO, and I expect there will be even more in Valorant. The worst game so far was when I played with 4 randoms who seemed relatively new. But what really struck me was the lack of communication. None of them said a word, except one who said he didn't care enough to use a mic. And the only time they typed was to ridicule the opposing team. That's an excellent way to lose. One of my biggest tips moving forward is to talk to your teammates and ignore the opposing team altogether. Talking to your team with callouts and strategies is going to increase your efficiency and synchronization, which will result in more round wins. Oftentimes, opposing teams will ridicule and try to annoy or frustrate you. What they're saying is not worth listening to. You definitely don't want to let negative words affect your mentality. If you solo queue, expect that you will have to carry, because even if you pull your weight, it's likely 2 or 3 teammates will be nearly useless. Basically, if you have a team, play in that team. However, the devs did say that they would try to balance more solos against solos and teams against teams, which is good news for solo queuers. The Valorant devs noted that rounds mattered the most overall, but that individual skill mattered too in the start and would decrease as you play more games. They directly say the purpose of this is to encourage players to play for rounds and work with their team, and I 100% support this. I think it's a great idea. It makes perfect sense. It's definitely good that they are being more transparent with how the ranking system works than in some games. You can see the general impact of a game on your rank in the Career tab. 2 of my friends played the exact same first 5 games, meaning they had the same round count. One placed Gold 2 and the other placed Silver 3. That means individual performance in those games amounted to just 2 ranks, so definitely focus on rounds. The other thing I saw was players who were very frustrated because they were running high kill games, but they weren't winning really at all. The scoreboard will tell you that all frags are the same, but I'm going to tell you that's not true. Every frag has a different round impact. A frag like this does little to nothing. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, because it's a good idea and it does help your team a little bit, but it won't help you win that round, and rounds matter more than kills. In fact, the dev notes specifically say that damage has an impact on your rank, but they never mention kills. This implies that those 34 damage finish-off kills don't do more than when you light someone 117. Personally, I'm thrilled to hear this, as baiting is very de-incentivized. They also said that quote-unquote decisive victories did more for your rank than close games. When you have almost won a game, don't throw some rounds if you want to rank up. Finish it. If you are losing a game, don't surrender. Speaking of surrender, a team surrendered to us, and we found that if there is a surrender, the winning team gets 13 rounds, no matter what the score was. It showed up as a 13-2 victory or something like that. You definitely don't want to surrender if you want to preserve your rank. And of course, because it's comp, opponents try much harder. You're going to have to get used to that if you want to enjoy competitive. I noticed randoms tended to be open-minded and nice, even if they weren't mechanically skilled, which was awesome to see. During one game, I told my teammates the issue was that our tempo was too slow and we had to increase it, and they actually did just that, which I was really surprised and impressed by. Team chemistry has been great as a whole because of the positive attitudes of most players so far. I would recommend talking and exchanging pleasantries at the beginning of a game because this also helps a lot with team chemistry. The economy is played much smarter by both teams. Players were making very intelligent decisions concerning saving and buying in the long term. Save rounds were usually well placed and not more than one round in a row, and they would lead into consistent rifle rounds. I did not see teams make those extended staggering forced buys for 5 or 6 rounds at a time that can often result in a losing streak. You will want to change to incorporate save rounds if you haven't already. You can see before a round how much money the other team has by bringing up the scoreboard, which is easy to forget about. I also saw a lot of light shield buying, which is something I personally shy away from, but I noticed an abundance of it in the first 5-ish rounds of every half, which is good news for Phantom users. Valorant ranks last one Valorant act, which is about 2 months. It's another way of saying there will be seasons. Whether there is a soft or hard reset after is unclear, but I am voting for hard resets for sure. People improve a lot over time, and the ranking system would be faulty if it did not reflect these changes. If you don't play Valorant for 14 days, your rank will vanish, but don't worry. The devs say that your rank does not decay while it has vanished. After one game, you will get a rank. The biggest issue I see in the competitive mode right now is the overtime procedure because it isn't well balanced. If competitive adopted something more along the lines of pro CSGO overtime, with 3 rounds per side and a set amount of money on each side, it would be closer to exactly equal. Fortunately, I was happy to hear this would be changed in the future. Competitive is looking really great and fun so far, and I'm excited to see where it goes moving forward. Remember, if you want to place at a high rank, win rounds, support your teammates, and run a good team composition. I hope you found some value in this video. Best of luck and have a great day.